Hi there, I am author Norma Jarrett, and thank you, Tony, for allowing me to come and read a little bit from my novel. The novel that I'm going to share with you today is called Salt and Sky, and I just think it's the perfect summer read. Salt and Sky is this journey about this mother and daughter, Maxine and Sierra Sanders, and they just have like this stronghold, this tie to this very powerful and wealthy African American family in Montclair, New Jersey. So the key to their freedom, their financial freedom, their mental freedom, spiritual freedom, and even physical a little bit of freedom is tied to Sierra, the daughter, and her ability to have the confidence and courage and accept this invitation to the island of Martha's Vineyard by a strange woman, and her name is Queenie. And so this kind of jump starts the path to their getting free and kind of reclaiming their lives. And so the chapter that I'm going to read from you is chapter 40. And it's when Sierra is first taking off to the island of Martha's Vineyard. She's almost like escaping in a way. So these are her observations and what she experiences. And it's actually strongly inspired by my first trip to Martha's Vineyard, Oaks Bluff, and actually what I scribbled in my journal when I took my first trip to Martha's Vineyard. So here we go. Sierra navigated the train station and finally boarded. At the time, the only person who knew her whereabouts was Amber. Once on the train, she quietly and quickly moved to a window seat. She settled and let out a sigh of relief as if she'd made a great getaway. The seat next to her was physically empty, but guilt rode shotgun all the way to Boston. She eventually dozed off. Once she arrived at the bus station, she popped in a shop, grabbed a snack, and purchased a large beach hat. She perched on a bench for about 10 minutes before a roomy bus drove up. She read the sign above the window, Woods Hole. She breathed a sigh of relief. She reached in her wallet for a ticket as she awaited an invitation from the metal door. As soon as her bottom hit the cushy fabric seat, she exhaled as her head fell back. The bus pulled away and she silently declared, "I am no longer Sierra Sanders, just Sierra for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to forget about my problems." And so after a few miles on the road, she rehearsed her narrative. "I'm from a good home, a great family. I'm visiting a relative." The Greers were known all over, and Martha's Vineyard was fertile ground for people like them. She was going to be careful about how not to raise any suspicion. She reached in her bag for something to read, deciding to get reacquainted with her favorite protagonist. After about 15 minutes, the book rested upon her chest as Sierra closed her eyes. She envisioned riding a bike in a gingham sundress, chatting with neighbors on the oval, and laying on the beach, just like Shelby. Soon the vibration of the bus lulled her into the sweetest slumber. "Woods Hole," the bus driver yelled as he pulled up to the park near a pier. Sierra opened her eyes, stretched, yawned, and peered out the window. The ferry to Oaks Bluff was front and center. She smiled, then eased out of her seat, feeling weightless. She grabbed her belongings and headed down the steps. The bus driver extended his hand to help her and winked. "Hope your day's as beautiful as you are." Sierra smiled and scurried by without any further conversation. She'd noticed him staring when she first got on, but ignored him. "I'm not here to make any friends." Her small piece of luggage was sitting on the ground awaiting her. She placed her hat on her head, slugged the tote on her shoulder, and rolled her luggage towards the ferry. She handed the checker her ticket. He smiled, then tore it in half. She followed the rest of the passengers up the ramp as if she'd done it many times. Sierra was about to rush to a seat, but instinctively paused at the rail. She focused on the stillness of the water. She drew in the light and crisp air. As the ferry pulled away from the pier, a reverent hush fell over the boat. Something magical was about to happen. Sierra remained at the rail as several people joined her. This was clearly some ritual, a peaceful rite of passage. She watched as they floated past the cluster of boats docked along the pier. Sierra gazed downward as the liquid carpet ushered the gentle giant along. Her linen sundress fluttered in the wind. She removed her hat, allowing her ringlets to catch the breeze. As the boat got underway, the foaming waves sliced through the waters while the orange sun milled in the distance. Sierra didn't know if it was the water, air, or the purity of the moment, but she suddenly felt permission to leave her guilt and worry behind on the pier. The moment was too serene, too surreal, and too perfect to surrender to anything less. So what awaits her is a little bit of mystery, a little bit of romance, and at the end of the day, maybe possibly the key to her issues and problems. So that's Salt and Sky. It's available on Amazon.com. And to learn more about my books, just visit Norma Jarrett, JARRETT.com for more. And thanks again, Tony, for allowing me to share.